Okay.
It is 7:06. This is the Southwick Historical Commission, and it is Monday, July 26th, 2021, and this is the Southwick Town Hall, meeting room number 1. We have, of our 3 members, 2 present, Barbara Phelps and myself, Lee David Hamburg. And we also have a guest here, Heidi Johnstone. So we will welcome her also to
Thank you.
attend the meeting.
Yes, welcome.
Are there public comments at this time? Do you have public comments to share?
I am here to observe and to figure out how this organization works and
All right. Well,
lovely stuff.
the Southwick Historical Commission was established about, I want to say, 43 years ago, plus or minus, 44, something like that.
okay.
And the commission has as its goal the preservation of historic buildings, sites, and places within the community of Southwick. We do this primarily through public comment, sometimes carrot on a stick, and very rarely do we actually have the power in any particular situation to bend arms or break knees or anything of the sort legally. We really have depended upon goodwill to a great extent. We have a limited budget, usually in the vicinity of $2,000, which is enough to get us through from year to year, to acquire a few supplies and attend maybe one conference a year if it's held. Last year was a strange one with COVID.
Yep.
And we are, when full, we'll have 5 members. We typically meet once a month. And usually it is the first Monday of the month at 7 o'clock in this room. Our largest obligation is to put together an inventory of historic or cultural resources within the town of Southwick and to keep it updated. And we use that as a means for making decisions and planning for their preservation. If you don't know what you've got, you can't save it. It's that simple.
So what you're saving, how does this cross over with the Historical Society at all?
We talk to each other very well, and primarily they're working with, historic programming, maintenance of, their property. But we have to have a slightly broader perspective as far as the overall community. Now, this doesn't mean that they can't make comment if there's some, plan to demolish, the house where George Washington slept. But that the responsibility is more on the part of the Historical Commission to do that.
So where do you keep your treasures?
We have relatively few treasures. We have some in that files and some there, and that's about it. Basically, what we keep are going to be research materials that can be used for researching the specific, building or site history and files on those specific buildings and sites.
Okay.
Because having a big collection with these 4 little walls that we also share with 1 or 2 other boards does not make too much sense. And so we don't have big exhibit space, and the Historical Society has a far larger venue for doing that. And so we try not to duplicate efforts. there was a time that it was happening, unbeknownst to us, but it was happening, and it really wasn't beneficial.
Yeah.
So that's it in a nutshell.
Okay.
But we are looking for more members if you are interested.
Okay.
And if you go across the hall to the Board of Selectmen, or is their meeting over?
Mark's not home yet, so I think the meeting's still going on.
Okay. All right. Then they're actually going to be appointing two other people that I'll discuss later.
Okay.
End of public comments. Secretary's minutes. I've reviewed the minutes as written by, submitted by Barbara Phelps. And the only necessity for changing would be under new business, item 1. Instead of need to approve expenditure of $15,000 from Global Telecommunication, it should read, motion made, seconded, and approved expenditure of $15,000 from Global Telecommunications account for canal project. Many years ago, the commission, before I was on it, negotiated basically an in lieu of fee of $25,000 from a cell phone tower company because they were locating it within a heritage landscape is what it was termed.
Okay.
And the idea was being that they're not doing the best thing with that, but they're going to give us money to help with preserving the Northampton to New Haven Canal, which crosses through Southwick. So it was, a this for that type scenario. And working with the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission, they're putting out to bid, if they haven't already, proposals for inventorying the entire canal from the state line to New Haven, including feeder canals, and doing that professionally and mapping it, and also doing some very specific sampling of archaeological resources along the route. So all the towns, all 6 towns are contributing $15,000 towards that project. So it's a total of $90,000 is what they're budgeting.
That's highway robbery.
That's highway robbery.
Am I wrong?
The report that they will probably have to create will be at least 200 pages is my guess. And to have every single property owner listed, every single GPS coordinate for the entire length of it, to do the historical research on it, to identify any historic buildings that are affiliated with it, and to do the archaeological survey, that's not unheard of.
Okay.
I wish it was cheap, but it's not.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to do it. It would be beyond my scope. I didn't see any other major
Okay.
idiosyncrasies. Table to July meeting, election commission positions.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll take care of that under new business, I guess, or other business. Financial reports.
Do we need to approve that? Or we don't have.
Yes, well, we can, I make a motion that the minutes as amended be approved.
I second.
All in favor? Aye.
And the last month, we also need to approve because it wasn't
It
available.
was not approved at the last one. Okay. I haven't looked at this in quite a while, so I'm going to give me a minute. Do you wish to have me read it out aloud?
No. Go ahead. Can I look at this one?
Yes, you certainly may. You want to do some music or something?
No,
for-
that's okay. I just wondering, should I pause this while you
Yeah,
read it?
you can pause.
Okay.
I'm going to make a motion to approve the minutes for the March 30th commission meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion is carried. If you wish to look over that, you may. Financial report. Of course, they keep on giving us financial reports, I think, every 2 weeks, but I'm just going to quickly go over the most recent three. As of June 15th, we had expended 0% of our budget. COVID kind of interferes with certain things, as you well know. We put together a veterans marker line item purchase order, and it was submitted and approved, and it was for $944.70. And
Can I ask questions?
yes, you may.
Okay. That $944.70, knowing that I'm on the cemetery commission.
Yes,
We also bought markers.
I know. You bought from the same place that
So
we
did we
bought.
overbuy? Should we?
We did not overbuy.
Okay.
I promise you that.
Okay. I just wanted
If
to make
we,
sure that
if
we're
we
not.
both made purchases for the next 10 years,
We
we
would not
would
be
not
overbuying.
overbuy.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that, we're not spending money in the
yeah.
same things.
Yeah.
And the report for July 16th, which is a new fiscal year, shows that we have a total operations budget of $1,710, and we have expended nothing as of right now.
Do you have to expend the money and you lose it if you do not spend it at the end of every fiscal year?
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
We do. And while that is painful, it would be, I personally think, fiscally irresponsible to simply, oh, let's buy some of this and buy some of that in order to fatten up the budget in order to spend every last time.
Okay.
That doesn't make any sense.
Where does
If
the money go at the end of the fiscal year if it's not spent? Back to the
It goes,
general?
it is into the general fund.
And does your budget get reduced every year if you don't use it?
It got reduced this year, which is the first time that it had. But again, that may be indicative of partially not expending it and partially not meeting and utilizing the funds due to COVID.
COVID, yeah.
Okay.
So,
Now, what kinds of things do you spend the money on when you do spend it?
we've used it for veterans markers. We have, I think I submitted one or two times, attended a conference and got reimbursed for some of the expenses
Okay.
involved in that. No food or drink.
Right, right.
We've also bought in the past different historic resources pertaining to Southwick that would be useful for research. So that's a legitimate expense. And we've bought, paper and file folders and, miscellaneous office supplies. And that's about it. I mean, not a huge, we're not belching smokestacks by any means.
Right, right. Okay. I'm just curious.
And we have, in the past, tried to get a secretary, and of course, no secretary.
Does the archiving that's going on with older documents, is that part of our budget as well?
No.
That's something the town does?
The only technical archiving that has been done to this point has been done through the town clerk's office, and they've used Community Preservation Act funds for that process.
Okay.
Old business, status of canal project. Let's see, I've got a Zoom meeting to attend on Wednesday afternoon at 3 o'clock, so I'll just stay at Old Sturbridge Village and attend my Zoom meeting and get updated. Since the last time we met, they've completed their contractor specifications. They have received, or a number of communities have either committed or are in the process of committing predominantly CPA funds for this project, and Shannon Walsh, the Historic Preservation Planner from the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission, and I went out on a field trip near the state line to track down several sections of the 1830 Salmon Brook feeder canal that linked up to the main canal. In 1830, there was a severe drought in the area, and there wasn't adequate water from the lakes to go north and south. So Connecticut, which was a separate corporation from Massachusetts for the canal, excavated a canal that went from Salmon Brook in Granby, Connecticut, and shot into Southwick slightly, and then went due east almost to the canal, just hitting it at the state line, where there's a guard lock, and the guard lock prevents water from going north or south. It's just there. So the Congamon Lakes feed going north, and this canal, along with other sources, feed going south.
Oh.
Yeah, it is just how it is. Anyways, she took several photos of that and took some GPS coordinates, and I'm glad that we did that.
What was her name again?
Shannon Walsh.
And you toured specifically just
The Salmon Brook
Salmon.
feeder canal in Southwick.
Okay.
The second item in old business is the status of the old library project. I have nothing to report at this time. They are not doing extensive exterior work at this point in time. The weather has not been the best for doing, painting or anything.
Right.
So I can't blame them one lick. I'm going to move now to new business and acceptance of Barbara Phelps' resignation. And I'm going to read this for the record. 28 Depot Street, Southwick, Mass., July 13th, 2021. To Select Board from Barbara Phelps. Subject, Historical Commission resignation. Through this letter, I am submitting my resignation as a member of the Historical Commission for the town of Southwick, effective on August 3rd. I appreciate the opportunity to serve as a commission member and to participate in matters that can document and preserve the historical resources of the town. It is my hope that the town will continue to recognize the importance of the history of Southwick, including the protection of historical structures located throughout the community. Sincerely, Barbara Phelps, CC Town Clerk, and Lee Hamburg, Chairman of the Southwick Historical Commission. I can take a vote to accept this
I
resignation,
think you should just flat out deny.
but I have no intention of forcing anyone to do something that they don't wish to do at this time.
There's things that are
And-
going on in my life and I just have to,
And, you know, I can understand that very well, and all I can say is thank you
you're welcome,
from the
Lee.
bottom of my heart.
I know.
Thank you.
You're
Great
welcome.
job you've been doing.
I guess. Thank you.
Potential new members. The Board of Selectmen either has or will be voting this evening on 2 new members for the Historical Commission. And those 2 individuals are Kirk Sanders.
Is that a K?
Yes.
U-R-K?
He was on the Southwick Police Force for years and years and years and retired last year.
Sanders or Saunders?
Yes,
Saunders?
Saunders?
I know.
Okay.
S-A-U-N.
I only know.
I will
only ask because
I will look that up.
I know a Saunders family in
Yes,
Granby.
Yeah, there's
Sanders or something.
Sanders. I will look that
sorry.
up just
I
for
will.
clarification,
Yeah.
or you can look it up in the street list.
Yes.
Um,
So he was a police,
Policeman for
Wow.
decades. He was the one of 2 DARE officers. The other
Ah,
one
yeah.
was Kevin Bishop, back 9 years ago. And they're both about, within a couple of years, age-wise. And the other individual that has expressed an interest is Mark Rankin. Do either of you know Mark Rankin?
I used to know a Cindy Rankin growing up.
No, I did not. I'm not familiar with Cindy Rankin, but
I don't
that's
know.
all right.
I don't know either one. of those.
R-A-N,
K-I-N.
okay, that's,
He grew up 3 houses south of the Methodist Church, with a couple of girls and another brother. And he's now retired, and both of them are retired, which has its blessings at times, which means they do a little bit more work than people that work, I think.
I don't
Because this work gets in the way of
Yeah.
everything, I'm telling you. But Mark is, in his own right, an historian of sorts.
good.
He has an eye for historic items and documents. He's donated several to the Southwick Historical Society over the years, including early sample ballots for an election, I forget what year it was. He's donated items from the Little Red Schoolhouse, or pertaining to that, which was on Congamon Road, a little private preschool. And he is also an avid Springfield hockey collector. Anything that has to do with Springfield hockey, he's collecting. He has I suspect, a veritable museum in his house and has no place to put it right now.
Well, good. Sound like 2 wonderful people.
And so I think they're good people. And, I would be willing to accept the potentiality of your participating on this.
How many people do you currently have with these 2 new gentlemen?
We will have potentially 4.
Who is the 4th?
Ruth Preston, who is not here at this time.
Okay.
And we are supposed to have 5. So there is an opportunity to serve. However, I also recognize that if you are on the cemetery commission, that can take up as much time as you're willing to give, so.
We haven't been too busy. So,
Well, I know where you can get busier.
I think between the rain and
Yeah,
my schedule and Jean's schedule, we haven't been able to see each other much to do work over at the cemetery.
I mean, there are always opportunities to serve. My suggestion would be, if you are interested in serving on this board, to submit a letter to the Board of Selectmen. Or to speak personally with Russ Fox at Southwick Florist.
Who's Russ Fox?
He is one of the 3 select board members.
Okay. Well, I may come to the next couple of monthly meetings and see how things go and how you guys operate and where I might think I might fit in and help out.
Yeah, that's what I did. I came once or twice.
Yeah. Although I also know that some people have interest in genealogy and
I don't know anybody like that.
and would be very good in working at another entity that is also near and dear to my heart. So there's always opportunities to serve, and it really comes down to picking your poison, you might say, thoughtfully and carefully. Other business. Can you think of other individuals that you might seriously consider for nominating to the Historical Commission? How many years have you lived in Southwick?
We moved here in 2011.
Okay, so you've been here for 10 years, so you're an old timer by now.
Yeah.
Well, some people would say that doesn't count for anything unless you've been born and died in
Right,
town.
right.
But as far as I'm concerned, where your heart is more important than
Yes.
you know how many years you've
Yeah.
lived in a place, because we get newcomers all the time that, by George, if you can just buttonhole them at the right time and the right way, they'd be willing to do, move mountains for the town.
Yeah.
Some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Oh, Mark Rankin has also been de facto in charge or director of the Southwick Recreation Center for years.
Oh. So he's got a network.
Yes.
So perhaps when they come on board, they may be able to give you some names.
It's possible. I mean, the pool is not huge by any means,
Right.
because I think the majority of people that are interested in local history typically turn out to be retirees, individuals that don't have family that they have to worry about, and they're looking for something that kind of picks their fancy, and that has its blessings and its curses, and you're well aware of that. The health never gets better. Your energy level never gets better.
For sure.
But quite often there's a real commitment on the part of those individuals. When they do get in, they jump in with both feet. And all we need is 1 or 2 in each board, commission.
Who's the person
Society.
who writes the articles and sticks them on either Facebook or in the Southwoods magazine?
Then
Yeah.
I've done some.
Yeah.
The one that does the Facebook primarily is Ross Hazeltine.
Okay.
And, I mentioned that name to Russ Fox. And it turns out that he does spend quite a bit of time here, but he also lives in South Carolina. And it is tough to be truly active on any board or any
Yeah,
organization
part-time living here.
when you're not here, you know, pretty much all year round. I mean, we've had snowbirds that have worked out fairly good. I mean, they jumped in with both feet while they were here. But then the other 6 months, or whatever their schedule mandates, you know, they just can't do anything,
Yeah.
you know, locally. So he's good at doing, primarily he does research based upon newspaper. He subscribes to an archived newspaper website.
And the members have to be Southwick citizens.
They are
residents.
supposed to be Southwick citizens. And, you know, that could, you know, is he South Carolina, is he
Yeah.
Southwick? Yeah, it gets a little iffy. I mean, there are people that own homes and everything in Southwick, and you can say, yeah, you're a citizen, and not have too much qualms, but others, it can be problematic.
Okay.
And I'm not interested in creating problems. Other business, I just wanted to give a quick synopsis of the Carvana. And namely that the corporation withdrew its request without prejudice from the planning board, and that de facto at the time, for the time being, gets rid of the potential of having half a dozen tobacco barns torn down on a heritage landscape. I only attended part of one out of the 3 hearings that they had. And I'm going to tell you, I was exhausted because I have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning for work.
Yeah.
And, you know, I can't, you know, after 8 o'clock, I'm just starting to
People
wilt.
being very, very, just rude.
I don't know how to do it.
What I saw was very uncivil,
Yeah.
and I found it very irritating. Even though I understood where they were coming from, even though I agreed with a lot of what, you know, what the underpinnings of what they were saying, but, you know, there was, you know, no decorum, and, you know, unfortunately, you know, Mr. Doherty, for all he does not have the best. We need to establish a date when we're going to meet next. And I am going to suggest the first Monday evening in August. And
Let's come
no. It would be September.
I thought you said you meted monthly.
Yes, we do. This meeting got called today because the Historical Society, with Ruth Preston as president, got scheduled for next Monday. Usually they're opposite. They meet the last Monday of the month, and the commission meets the first Monday of the month. So, but the first Monday in September is Labor Day, if I'm not mistaken, which is
It
a
is.
state holiday, and so the town hall is closed.
So we're meeting the second
We're going to have to meet the second Monday.
Which would be September 13th.
Okay.
At 7 p.m. and I will call the meeting, and I will not have to call you, although you're always invited, and you already have it on your calendar probably.
Not yet, I'm trying to get there. September 13th. I will put it on there now, though.
Okay.
And I would entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting. at
I
7:55.
second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? No. That's it, folks.
Yeah.